Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Shannon says we're witnessing the best 8-game stretch we've ever seen LeBron play. Skip believes it was a Game 1 all over again for his Spurs and was disappointed in their Game 4 performance. Lavar Ball is in studio to come talk about the ZO2 shoes and why his son Lonzo Ball should be the #1 pick in the upcoming 2017 NBA draft. FS1 NFL analyst Greg Jennings thinks there's no problem with Myles Garrett saying he wants to take down Big Ben in his rookie season. Finally, former NBA champion Caron Butler makes the case for why John Wall is the second best player in the Eastern Conference, but Skip says it's Kyrie Irving. Shannon, your Cavs are moving on.
My homeboy, the one up in Akron, see Shannon put on something real nice today.
Oh, to celebrate the championship?
Will you do what
it's
you
over?
do? Will you? Skip!
Oh, here.
It is.
Here. Thank you.
That series is over.
I thought you're maybe too good to fist bump me anymore.
No,
it's over, right?
The little dinosaurs, are extinct again.
Little Barney Fife.
Let's get it started with that series. LeVar Ball will be with us later in the show.
Yes,
but first, let's start with the Cavs. They swept the Raptors yesterday after winning 109-102. LeBron had 35 points, 9 rebounds, and is headed to his 7th straight Eastern Conference Finals. After Game 3 on Friday, LeBron talked about his legacy. He said, "What else do I have to prove? Seriously, what else would I have to do? I've won championships. I won my first one, and I won for my teammates, and I came home and won. There isn't anything left I have to prove." Shannon, do you agree with LeBron?
No, I do not. And there's not very much, Skip. You know this, that I disagree with the king of Akron.
This is shocking.
But for him to say there's nothing else to prove, he's being disingenuous. Because he even acknowledged after winning the championship last year, what did he write? He says, "I'm chasing the ghost of Chicago." Well, if you have nothing else to prove, that would have meant you've already passed the ghost of Chicago, which we know that has not happened. Because
yes, we do.
Because in order for him for us to have the conversation that LeBron is the greatest, he needs to get to close to, if not past, 7 titles. You and I both agree on that. Now, his body of work is still incomplete. He's still going. You look at what he's done the first 2 rounds, you're like, this is the best we've seen LeBron play in playoff basketball. This is the best stretch of this is the 8 best stretches of games we've ever seen LeBron James play. And considering he's
Don't put me in the we. You can say you think that. Don't include me.
This is the best.
Okay,
8
that's what
stretch
Shannon thinks.
This is the best 8 stretch of ball games that LeBron James have ever played in his career. I'm talking about continuous stretch. I'm not talking about pick a game here, pick a game in 2005, take one from 2009. I'm talking about for a stretch, for a single period of time, this is the best that we've seen LeBron play. And you know that. But Skip, when you're chasing something, and even the greats must constantly update their resume, because a lot of what we've seen is that when guys feel they have nothing else to prove, they step aside. He has yet to step aside. If anything, he's even elevating his level of play. All he's doing right now, Skip, is just showing you, if I wanted to win MVP, you see what I've been doing? I can do this every game if I wanted to. But that ain't what it's about with me. What it's about with me is championships. I coast through think about it. You get to coast and get 26, 8, and 8. And then when you come to the playoff, you ramp that up and get 35, 8, and 7. No, my bad. 35, 9, and 7. This is special. But he's being disingenuous, Skip. He has to constantly evolve, because not only are you having something to prove, because guess what? There's a great chance you're not going to be the MVP. And you want to go win the finals and say, "Shit, I told you." They might have got that MVP, but I'm the most valuable player. I'm the best player in the NBA. And he needs to prove to himself that he can continuously do it. So he's not being forthcoming, because I think what he's trying to do is divert some of the pressure that old one Skip Bayless and a lot of others like Skip Bayless try to heap on him to try to break him down. But he ain't gonna let y'all do it. And by the way, he's in south of France right now.
He's in the south of France. You know that for a fact?
He called Savannah and says,
Spin the globe?
We're going. He's like, Savannah, we're going on vacation again. She's like, LeBron, I just got back. I don't have anything packed. He said, everything you need is in the villa in the south of France. Let go.
Really? Let's go?
Let's
It's
go.
like Tony Romo goes to Cabo, right?
What did I ask you not to do, Skip?
It reminds me of the same thing. That could be trouble if they ever played anybody in the next round. But you know what? He should go to the south of France, considering that they're going to sweep whoever wins the other series. And
They're not sweeping the Wizards.
They are going to sweep the Wizards. We'll get to that later. So, you good?
I'm
You done?
good.
All right. So we have two levels here. We got big picture and we got little picture. If you're talking big picture, the truth is that LeBron spoke the cold, hard truth. He has nothing left to prove because he can't catch the ghost, or I should say the GOAT, as in greatest of all time, that guy who played in Chicago named Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Well, speak for yourself.
Okay, that's all I'm doing now because it's my turn to speak.
You
okay?
said he can't.
Okay, well, he just can't. It's over. The competition is over, except in the figments of the blind witness imagination such as yours, right? Because let's be clear about this. Michael Jeffrey Jordan went 6 times to the NBA Finals, and he won all 6 with 6 MVPs. So he is 6-0 in the NBA Finals. LeBron James stands 3-4 in the NBA Finals. And even though this is a long shot for him to even win 3 more, because he's what, 37? I keep losing track. Help me out.
You tell me.
36, 37, somewhere up in there. He's been playing for like 15 years.
He's 7 years older than Kawhi.
Okay, fine. But it's going to be a long shot for him to even win the 3 to catch the 6, because he's only halfway to the GOAT, not the ghost. Now, and included in the 4 losing finals was the all-time meltdown against Dallas that you remember very well, 2011, Miami Heat. So that's a stain on the resume right there. And then he got taken out by the Spurs in 5 games by a record finals margin. That's another stain on the resume. And I won't even mention that in his first finals, he got swept by the Spurs because he was just a baby. And you can say he had, what do you call them, a bunch of cupcakes around him or whatever you call it, spare parts.
Squeegees,
Yeah.
mop bucket.
Yeah. So, again, I won't even
Loofah
bring
scrub.
that one up. But the point is, his resume already got stained twice in the finals. So even if he gets to 6-4, how can you make a case he's better than the GOAT? So that part is completely over. But if you want to make the case that he starts to feel the pressure building and he wants to just slough it off by saying, hey, what else do I have to prove? Then I think you were making that case, right? So maybe the pressure's starting to get him a little bit. Maybe he needs to deflect a little bit. Maybe he needs to diffuse a little bit the pressure. So if you want to make that case, I'm fine with that. I get it. I think it was smaller than that. I'm going to go short term, small case, small picture, because I think he gets sick and tired of hearing how little competition he has in the Eastern Conference. But that's all he has is no competition. So he's saying, what else do I have to prove? You know, I've already done this many times. He's done it before against much better competition. So when you make the case he's played the 8 greatest straight games of his career, against what? Against nothingness, against a 42-40 Pacers team featuring a Paul George who pointed fingers at everyone but himself. And all 4 of those games did go to the wire, and all they needed was somebody to close the deal in Indiana. And that guy is not Paul George. He's a LeBron wannabe. He's a very poor man's LeBron James, and he can't close that deal. So in the end, he doesn't believe he can beat LeBron James, which brings us to the Toronto Raptors, who put up an even more embarrassing 4 games against LeBron James because none of those guys really believe they can even compete with LeBron James. And it got so bad on Friday night that LeBron started clowning the Raptors in their own building. Can we see those shots? He starts shooting left-handed.
What you mean?
He's shooting left-handed. He's shooting left-handed.
The only thing he does is shoot a basketball right-handed.
I know it. He's left-handed by birth. But how many times do you see him shoot left-handed in most regular? Have you ever seen him shoot left-handed in a regular season game?
Yep.
I'm talking about from distance.
Yep.
From 15 feet.
He could do it.
Nope, you don't.
I'm surprised he ain't kicked one
clowning.
in.
He's toying. He did it 3 times on
Yep.
Friday night. I almost turned the TV off. I
Why?
said, this is a joke. He knows it's a joke, so he's making a joke of the Raptors. And again, he is left-handed by birth. I get all that, but you don't see him shoot. Does he ever just say, I'm going to shoot this
You
free
mad
throw
because
left?
Kawhi can't shoot left-handed, huh?
I'm not. By the way, Kawhi has a awesome left hand. You've ever seen left-handed dunk, claw, boom. He can dunk.
Why didn't he dunk last night?
Huh?
Why didn't he dunk last night?
Okay, we're going to do that in a minute.
Okay, I'm just go ahead.
Okay, but here's the point. It got so bad on Friday night that LeBron started coaching the Raptors because poor Norman Powell was confused about whether he was supposed to be in or out. LeBron's kind of looking at the coaches on the Raptors bench saying, oh, no, you need to stay in. And he reaches out and pulls Norman Powell back onto the court like he's an assistant coach for the Raptors. It is the ultimate show of disrespect.
It wasn't to stop
as
Skip.
Norman Powell said, he tried to son me, as in S-O-N, as in treat me like his son, which he did.
No, he didn't,
It's
Skip.
just so disrespectful. And you know what? I don't blame LeBron for this one because Toronto is such a joke. They're so bad. They just genuflect in the presence of the king. They kneel at the knees of the king.
Skip.
So it's fine. And he knew it, and they knew it.
Skip.
And so he can get away with, oh, no, you need to stay in the game, son. Let me pull you back into the game, son.
Why you do that?
I'm just telling you the truth. You know it, and I know it.
You know good and well, LeBron was not trying to son the man. He didn't want him get caught with an illegal substitution. But everybody. But here's the thing, though, Skip. Everybody gets upset with the least little thing LeBron James does, and it seems to be a problem. But you said something like LeBron has no competition. So let me ask you a question. When he beat Duncan, Manu, Tony Parker, and the Claw in the 2013 finals.
Well, he didn't. Ray Allen did.
So let me ask you a question. Of those
but
four,
that was in the finals. We're talking about the East. We're talking about the Eastern Conference. It's the cakewalk that is the East.
It's funny. It's funny, Skip. I do three things during the course of my day. I come do this show, I train, and then I do research to come in and do this show. I had a feeling you was going to bring up LeBron's competition. I had a feeling, Joe, I knew it. I said, I know that Skip Bayless. I said, man, I'm working with him for about September 6th was our launch date. I said, I've been working with him for a while. I know
I'm
him.
in trouble now.
It just so happens that Magic Johnson went to 9 Western Conference Finals. 9. So he played 24 series in the West in those 9 final runs. He lost 20 games. During the 1980s, only 3 teams other than the Lakers won more than 55 games.
Okay, so
Hold on, wait a minute.
It just doesn't matter.
Hold on,
We're talking about the last 7 years in the
Hold on,
East.
Skip. No, I didn't interrupt you. I'll let you speak. Now, he lost 20 games in 24 series. He lost 6 of those games in 1988.
Okay, so I'm fine. Magic had no competition in the West. You can have that one. I'll give that to you. But that has zero to do with what just happened over the last 7 years in the Eastern Conference when LeBron cakewalked. He waltzed all the way to the NBA Finals every year. He's been to 7 straight finals, and this will be his 7th straight because he faces nobody.
Skip, why do you do that? Magic went to 10 conference finals in the first 12 years.
Good.
Played 7
you can have it. I
different
give
teams.
it up. You're right. Magic had no competition until the NBA Finals, but that's not the question at hand.
Hold on, Skip. He was in the West. He lost 20 games in 24 series. He lost 6 games in 1 series. So he had no competition in the West. Forget the finals. And no one said, man, if Magic had to play in the East and face the Sixers, the Celtics, and the Pistons, he wouldn't be going to those finals. No one ever said that.
Because
but what
everybody is waiting for Magic Bird in the finals.
Larry Bird.
Because it was all time. It was 2 Titans clashing.
Larry Bird never won back-to-back NBA championships.
Because of Magic Johnson. Okay, so what does that have to do with LeBron James? Does that mean that disqualifies LeBron's competition or qualifies it? I don't know.
But see, what has happened is that everybody tries to minimize and marginalize because now you say, oh, he has no competition.
Have you ever heard one analyst make the case that Magic Johnson was better than Michael Jordan?
No.
One. No.
But you don't make, he got 5 titles, and you don't ever try to minimize what he had to do to get to those finals. You just said Magic was great. In Michael Jordan, he played 6 different, in the finals, he played 6 different teams. He didn't play the same team. So we keep talking about, it was the same, Skip. It's always been dominant. When you have a transcendent.
Why don't you give me Michael Jordan's competition in the East? Did you do that research?
Okay. He played the Knicks. The Knicks had how many Hall of Famers?
They had one big one.
One big one.
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot. Do
Hold
you think any of these guys is going to be in the Hall of Fame?
Let me see. Is Paul Pierce going to the Hall of Fame? Yes or no? Is Kevin Garnett going to the Hall of Fame?
Okay,
yes or no?
Hold
on, Skip. You just asked me a question that I try to answer, and then you won't answer. Is Kevin Garnett going to the Hall of Fame? Yes or no?
I'm not sure about that. I'd have to think hard about it. He wouldn't be in my Hall of Fame, but he'll probably get in.
But Tracy McGrady is.
Yes, he's in. He's going in. Again, he wouldn't be in my Hall of Fame.
So a guy that won an MVP, and he went to like 13, 14, is Paul Pierce a Hall of Famer?
No doubt, Hall of Famer.
Is Ray Allen a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I'll put him in.
What about Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russ? Will they be in the Hall of Fame? You know what happens? Kevin Durant was so afraid of LeBron. He interviewed with the Boston Celtics. He wouldn't go to Boston. He wouldn't even take an interview with his hometown team, the Wizards, because he says, you know what I want? I want to wait as long as I possibly can to have to deal with the King of Akron. And when I do, I want an army. Okay. Because I know he might be by himself, him and Unc, but they coming, and I can't do it alone.
Has LeBron played a Hall of Famer in the first 2 rounds when you say this is special this year? I'm talking about now, because this question is about now.
I believe Paul George.
He's played none.
I believe
Paul George shouldn't even sniff the Hall of Fame.
All I know is in Michael Jordan's first three playoff games, and you know what I asked?
By the Boston Celtics with 5 Hall of Famers?
The greatest player of all time. Hold on. The greatest.
5 Hall of Famers?
Hold on. The greatest player. The greatest player of all time.
I said I'm not going to bring up what happened in LeBron's first finals. Didn't I say that? That was in the NBA Finals.
I said in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
I got it.
The greatest player could not take a game from the Big Three.
How could you? With 5 Hall of Famers on the team?
The great.
It's Michael against 1 on 5?
Because
when he was a baby?
That's what you do with LeBron.
I don't do that with LeBron. I said I won't even count 2007 when he's going up against 3 Hall of Famers that are in their prime.
I'm not talking about the finals, because Michael Jordan didn't even think about getting to the finals until the 90s, and he got drafted in 1984. LeBron, 4 years after high school, was in the NBA Finals. How old was Michael?
I told you the other day, Michael Jordan had to get through almost 40 Hall of Famers only in the Eastern Conference over his 13 seasons, 13 playoff runs to get to the finals.
You're doing it ex post facto. They're Hall of Famers now. Let's see when it's all said and done.
You just knew. You just knew they were. I don't know any. Is DeMar DeRozan in the Hall of Fame? Is he going to be? Are you projecting? I'll bet you 90 cases of Diet Mountain Dew that DeMar DeRozan won't wind up in the Hall of Fame.
Let's see when it's all over.
Okay.
Because when it's all said and done, we'll see how it shakes out.
So just to finish off what Toronto, how hapless and hopeless they were, Kyle Lowry, who can't even play in the last 2 games, on Saturday tells the media, we've got no chance. He just waved the white flag and said it's over because they have Michael Jordan and nobody's closing the gap with Michael Jordan.
He said LeBron James.
Yeah, I said LeBron James.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. LeBron James, and nobody has him, and it's over. He just conceded the 4th game for his teammates, and he couldn't even contribute. And then how about Dwayne Casey after the game yesterday? He tries to deflect blame off himself and off his team by trying to make the case that the Cavaliers have been invincible since the All-Star break. Do you remember this quote? Did you see it last night? He said, they did flip a switch. This is Dwayne Casey on the Cavaliers. They're a totally different team defensively and offensively post All-Star break. Anybody who thinks anything differently doesn't know anything about basketball. Then point the finger at me. I don't know anything about basketball, because I've got stats here that say since the All-Star break, the Cavaliers went 12-15. Does that mean they flipped the switch? That was the 17th best record in the NBA. And since Coasting?
Who coasted?
Oh, okay, well, Dwayne Casey must have seen something I just could not see, but I don't know anything about basketball. And defensive efficiency, they were the 2nd worst since the All-Star break to only the Lakers in the NBA. That's how bad their defense was. Their team finished for the whole year tied for 22nd in defense, and as I kept telling you, over the last 46 games, which predated the All-Star break, they finished 23-23 over their last 46 games. And you're telling me they flipped the switch? Nope, they turned out the lights on a Toronto team that didn't even deserve to be on the same floor with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And please don't tell me that LeBron has no help and that he's so special. What happened yesterday when Toronto took a brief lead in the fourth quarter? Yeah. Kyrie Irving happened, right?
And that's what makes LeBron so great, because he's been having a phenomenal playoff. And he says, okay, Unc, you got to go and you take over.
You do it? So you're down a point, and all of a sudden you're up 8 because Kyrie scores 11 straight points.
But when it came down and they started making that run, and LeBron James shot that 3 from Whistler. Now, you know Whistler's on the other coast, as opposed to Toronto that's above Buffalo. And then he hit one from Saskatchewan.
Wow. You know what? He has been hot from 3, which I always tell you. That's dangerous. Fool's gold. Falling back into the trap. Falling back in love with the 3.
I know a guy that haven't been hot from the 3.
Who?
And I know a guy that hadn't been shooting too well from the free throw line either.
Oh, who is that?
You know it. We're going to talk about him next.
Because he went 1 for 3 from the free throw line? Wait, so now I keep hearing on TNT how hot LeBron is from the free throw line. So he's raised his free throw shooting in the postseason to 73%. And his career average during the regular season is 74, and during the playoffs is 75. So he's still below his averages from the free throw line, even though he's crazy hot.
What did he shoot this year in the regular season?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Okay,
I'm just looking at the whole thing.
Okay.
What's
his average? What's his average during the regular season?
All I know is that he entered these playoffs the worst three-point shooter in NBA playoff history, LeBron James.
And he's going to exit these playoffs as the #1 scorer in playoff history.
Oh.
In the top 3 as far as three-point and playoff history. Going to be what? What, he's like 5th in assists? You do all that bumping them gums, Skip Bayless, but you can't deny His Royal Highness his greatness. Bestow his crown upon his head.
No mercy. Thanks, guys. It's Joy. Before we move into the next topic, I want to bring in Skip and Shannon with a great offer for our listeners from Saks.
Thanks, Joy. Skip and I wanted to tell you about Saks Underwear Company.
That's right, Shannon. We all know that most guys settle for underwear that just isn't quite right. It's not as comfortable as it should be, or it should have been thrown out months ago, if not years ago. Nowadays, there are so many options to choose from, but I want to tell you about one brand, Saks. Shannon and I may disagree from time to time on Undisputed, but who can question the word of a guy who made the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Shannon, how important is comfort when you're working out?
Comfort is very important when you work out. You don't want something too snug. You don't want something too loose. You want something that will absorb the moisture, but you feel comfortable in it. And the more comfortable you are when you work out, I believe the longer you will work out. And that's the most important thing. So I am glad I got an opportunity to try Saks Underwear Company, and they're working great for me.
That's right, Shannon. Saks was created by a real guy, an athlete, and an outdoorsman. So Saks knows what guys are looking for when it comes to a good pair of underwear. Saks is more supportive than other brands out there, and it uses the highest quality material. Saks will keep you cool, dry, and comfortable. We want you to use Saks so you can feel the difference for yourself. Go to our special site, SaksUnderwear.com/undisputed, and you'll get 20% off your first purchase for a limited time only. That's Saks with 2 X's, SaksUnderwear.com/undisputed for 20% off your first purchase.
Thanks once again. That is SaksUnderwear.com/undisputed. Our listeners will get 20% off your first purchase for a limited time. Go to Saks, that's with 2 X's, SaksUnderwear.com/undisputed. Now let's get back to the show. No mercy. Our next guest unveiled the new Zoe 2 shoes last week, selling for $495. He's the father of Lonzo Ball and the head of Big Baller brand, Lavar Ball. Welcome to Undisputed.
Hey,
welcome.
Good morning.
Look at
This man. That's the CEO stuff.
He is the CEO.
I mean, he normally come out here, big T-shirts and sweatpants and sneakers. Now look at it.
Time for business, baby. Time for business.
Well, Lavar, have you been surprised by all of the reactions to your shoes?
Oh, not really. I expect this reaction on the fact that people are losing sight. They're looking at the price tag and not understanding that Lonzo's shoe is symbolic. That comes with a price tag.
Symbolic of?
Symbolic as he's the first one ever to come in here without even playing a game and have his own brand. It's not just a shoe. You just go in a store or something like that, and you say, you know what? Let me get the Kyrie, the LeBrons, and by the way, throw in the ZO2s. Nah, ZO2s mean something. That's why the price tag is like that. That's what the shoe's worth. I bet you not one of those guys that I named sat in the room for the price of the shoe. They just give you the shoe, and here you go.
Did you seek advice to come up with $495, or was that your?
No, I didn't have to seek no advice because it's mine.
And how did you arrive at $495?
I think that's what the shoe is worth. I think that's what the shoe is worth.
You know what, Lavar? I know you. I watch you. I watch your mannerisms. Skip Bayless. Let me tell you something about this man. The reason why he came up with $495, he's like, if I come up with a shoe for $100 or $125, ain't nobody gonna be talking about it. See, they're talking about the price, not the shoe.
Right.
But you got people. But see what you got people's attention. Now that you got their attention, how do you keep it with this shoe? Because like you said, Lonzo hadn't played a game.
He don't have to play a game. He did more than enough. Look what he did for UCLA. He sold that place out and ain't been sold out in 10 years. And what you mean he ain't did enough? They got Gucci and Prada. What have they done?
But
at least my son can play.
But here's the thing. Michael Jordan could not command $100 for a pair of sneakers.
Because he ain't Lonzo Ball, that's why.
Lavar, you better stop playing with me.
I'm going to tell you again, did he have his own brand when he came in?
No.
It's a new era called the Ball era.
But here's the thing, though. What is he going to do to make that shoe symbolic? Because you had
that
Air
shoe
Jordan,
is symbolic already on the fact that he's coming in with his own brand. Nobody's ever done that. So if I sell 50 shoes, who cares? It's a family thing. It's for the family. I'll make them all for Lonzo. Lonzo has his own shoe. Just like Shaq was saying, oh, Lavar, you need to make it for the kids. No, that's your lane. You make it for them. They got 2 lanes they can come in. He makes his shoe, his Shaq attack. Yes. How come his son don't wear it? It's a family thing. See, my son will wear my shoe. It's a family thing.
Oh, you give him a choice?
I'm giving him a choice. He can wear any shoe he wants, but why wouldn't you want to wear something that's your own? That's what I'm saying.
You make a valid point.
So we know Chad Johnson bought, or at least ordered a pair. And we know Michael Bennett said he ordered a couple pair, I believe.
Yes.
Are you were aware of those?
Yes, they've told me. Yes.
So can you give us some idea of how many have been ordered?
Just look at me and you tell me.
This is proof positive?
Yes, this is proof positive right here.
That was quick. The shoes
Very quick. Very quick.
Hold on. The shoes drop on Thursday and you got a tux on Monday?
That's how it's rolling. You see it.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Hey, I didn't say that.
So
Skip, before you go.
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yes.
I got no problem. You're an entrepreneur. You want your son. This is okay. You have your own brand. It's not going to be, and people are not going to profit off of you.
Right.
But the comment, if you can't afford $495, you're not a baller. You think you go a bit?
I didn't say if you can't afford
Right.
a $495.
Right.
I said if you don't cop the ZO2s, you're not a baller. As I said before, this big baller brand is not just about having a lot of money and paying. Big baller brand, you could be a big baller at whatever you do.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Work hard and get it. That's what I mean by that.
Okay.
Some people think, hey, some of these folks think big baller is just sitting there crying.
So, Shannon, what did I tell you on Friday? That this man has pulled off something that Nike and Under Armour and Reebok would envy, which is over 72 hours, you have generated more publicity with $495 than they could ever have hoped for any launch of their shoes. Right?
Yes.
So was that part of the thinking? Was that if you...
It's part of the thinking, like you said, on the fact that it's my own thinking. I don't have to go to a boardroom and say, you know what do you think the price should be on this? My boardroom consists of me and my son. Son, if you think your value of your shoe is that, what you think? This ain't the normal shoe. We put a lot into this, but nobody's going to give the creativity to a 19-year-old kid. He's wearing the shoe. Everything on that shoe he designed.
So has anyone ordered the $995? Is that what it is?
Here's the $995
with the autograph, right?
Oh, yes, because here's what this is. That shoe right there is memorabilia. See, that's what they don't get. People can't sign those shoes at the end of their career because they already sold to the licensing, to the right to sign their own shoe. They gave that to the memorabilia early. That's why you don't have nobody. You got to stamp them other signs on there, them Kobe signs, them LeBron signs, Zoe's is
So
original.
give us some idea how it's selling, just some idea.
Well, it's selling on the fact that it's a good shoe. It looks good. It's a family thing as far as the
But
brand.
like how many orders? Can you give us some vague ballpark? Just
I'll give you a vague ballpark. Is give me a number. How about $495?
you've had 495 orders?
At least.
Well, I hope so.
Well, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Were we right? We were just speculating on Friday. We're doing 1,000.
See, that's where everybody wants to see and where about what's going on with the prices and all that and how many shoes we sell.
Well, I'm going to design me
Here's
a
the
shoe.
thing. Yeah, see, now everybody want to design a shoe. But
Well,
just
you
like I
dress
was
like
telling
that.
you, just like the memorabilia thing,
Yeah.
you buy this shoe for $1,000. Whatever Lonzo does, he goes to the playoffs, wins some championships. Imagine how much it's worth then. See, that's where they're getting stuck on the numbers. Forget about the pricing.
Right.
Just understand what we're doing with this. I never heard of memorabilia going down.
So what's his, if
So
you
that's
go-
a great investment.
if you
Wouldn't
put his
say?
if you put his logo or you put his stamp, what's his going to be his signature? What's his going to be? You got the jump man, or you got LeBron, whatever, dunking the basketball. You got Kobe with the.
Zoe is the signature on the back of the shoe. It's ZO2. That's what it is. If you look at it, it's a Z, a 0, and it's number 2 in the middle.
What about
That's
what's
the
it called?
brand.
Now there's a coach at Ohio State said you stole this.
Logo.
Of course, he's been watching TV for a long time. How's that his logo? This is ours, created by Zoe. ZO2. What does his logo mean? I don't know. I don't even know the guy. And ain't Ohio State? If we're talking about Ohio State, ain't they the Buckeyes? And he talking about stealing logo, but he got to say that to get some relevance because nobody even know who he is, unless he say, "Oh man, he stole my logo."
His name is Zach Smith. For the
What's his
record.
name? Zach Smith? He should have had a Z in the S then. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
So go
Go ahead, Skip.
So I want to talk for a second about Lavar Ball because this is an amazing phenomenon that a couple of months ago I did not know who you were because I think a lot of people didn't know who you
Right.
were. And all of a sudden, you are a household name. You are actually dominating the sports headlines over the last month or so until it hit a crescendo with 495. So how has it changed your life? Like you go to the grocery store and you're going to get recognized. Maybe that's in Chino Hills, you would have been recognized anyway. But if you're out in a restaurant in L.A., are you now a big celebrity? Do you have to?
It's not going to change. It's been the same thing. It's a lot more people. Like when I walk by, they say, "Hey, big baller brand," or something like that, Lavar. But I'm the same guy. Because, like I said, I'm not going to change. I'm still loud and still talk to them and everybody.
But does this amaze you, this phenomenon?
It doesn't amaze me at all. I'm supposed to be like this.
Like it was meant to be?
It's meant to be.
Well, let me ask you something about this Chino Hills coach. What role did you play in that? You come out here talking and telling everything. Tell the whole truth.
What role did I play? I didn't play a role at all. I'm concentrating on big baller brand. I'm not on staff. That's protocol what they did. Everybody keep asking
hold
me,
on,
Lavar, you did that. No, I didn't.
LeVar,
I'm not on staff.
Okay, how about this?
The guy is a great guy.
You said
Just can't coach.
Melo was not going to that school if he was.
I didn't say Melo was not going to that school.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
You find it. I guarantee
LeVar,
you.
I think
didn't
you
say-
said it the last time you were here.
No. Listen, I never said Melo was not going to that school. You
No,
guys
you-
got to
no.
listen to this.
You said
I
he wasn't playing
he's
for that
not playing
basketball.
for that coach.
Okay, that's what
We built the school. Why would we leave?
I mean, hold on.
We built the school. Why would we leave? You won't even talk about Chino Hills if the Ball brothers ain't there. That's all I'm saying. We ain't going nowhere.
You pull the funding. How do
I pull the funding?
How could I? Melo is the funding.
Hey, you tell them that. I ain't said nothing.
So if they had come to you and said, sorry, we're going to hang with this coach for another year, you would have done what?
I'd have said, go right ahead. I'd like to see this.
And? Would you have pulled your kid out?
I'm not pulling my kid from nowhere.
But you're just not gonna let him play.
Listen. He wouldn't even have to play high school ball. Melo's already going to do what he's going to do.
How you going? Hold on, Levar, stop that, man. How you gonna do that?
Much control, like I'm doing right now.
I know it.
Yes.
You holding that man's livelihood and his future in the balance.
How?
Because you pull your
Become a big baller and do your own thing.
so can he come work with Big Baller?
Stop it. You know you can't come from big baller after you do that. Once you go the wrong way one time, that's it. That's it.
At least you honest.
Yes. Think about what you're doing before you do it.
So is it fair to say that now Lonzo Ball will come into the NBA with as much or more pressure than anyone since LeBron James?
Excuse me.
Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say that. It's fair to say that on the outside for people. But like I said before, my son doesn't see this as pressure. It's just entertainment. And it's been embedded in his head for so long. It's pressure for you guys looking at him.
Right.
Like I tell everybody, man, everybody want to look out the window, but don't nobody want to look in the mirror.
That reflection.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody's like thinking this is going to be so hard for Zoe. And Zoe going to do whatever he's going to do. He's been successful playing basketball, something he's loved to do all his life.
Right.
So it's not like he's going to get to this stage and just be like, you know what, these guys are coming at me and I don't want to do this no more.
So make a case for Lonzo over Markelle Fultz to be the first player picked.
Well, the first player picked is Zoe does something that nobody else does in the draft, which is make everybody around him better. He will make them sacrifices to make that team better. And every team he's gone on, he's uplifted them. And that's something that Markelle's going to have to do that, and I don't know if he can, on the fact that you only won 9 games. You got to go 500 on your own. Something you got to do to trigger. You just can't be out there scoring and doing your thing. I'm working with my youngest son right now, and we did 3 tournaments. In one tournament, he went 1-3. The second one, he went 2-2. But I'm saying, you have to make everybody better. You can't score these 50 points and lose. And then you have to learn to trust your teammates.
Right.
That's what Westbrook is having a problem with that. He's a heck of a player, a heck of a game, but you're going to get tired. And that's what's happening. You got to be able to defer. And what Lonzo is good at is knowing when to strike. He's going to make everybody, he has a game plan going in before they even play. Most people just go out there and play. Zoe's like, oh, I'm going to be real aggressive now and make them think about me, then I start passing. Or I'm going to pass a lot so they forget about me. But you got to see what team you're playing and come in on a game plan that you're going to have. You just can't come say, okay, it's next game, let's go. So it's beautiful. In the last tournament we just did, my son Melo went 4-0, learning from Lonzo. Like, hey, make everybody better around you. It's about winning. It ain't about you scoring 50 and 60 points and being the man. So it's beautiful to watch him learn what his brother's done.
Do you care where Lonzo winds up? Would you prefer Lakers?
I prefer the Lakers for anything. We West Coast people.
I know.
Yeah, I already know.
This West Coast, man, we good.
Remember that had that ping pong in '85, Skip? Remember how that ping pong ball bounced?
Yep.
I ain't saying nothing, Lonzo. I'm just saying.
Okay.
That ping pong, hey, like I told him before, the Lakers gonna get that ball, then they gonna get that ball.
No mercy. The Rockets blew out the Spurs last night to tie the series at 2 games apiece. James Harden had 28 points and 12 assists. The Rockets made 19 three-pointers in the win. Let's take a listen to Harden and Greg Popovich after the game.
I just try to, like I said, play with pace. Once we got stops, just be aggressive, and whether it's getting to the basket or, making an open pass. But I think, my body movement was key. Just pushing the ball. But the whole purpose of that was just to get stops. We got stops and we were out.
Our Bible begins with transition defense, and if it's not there, then we're just not ready to go. But if you would have seen the clips of our transition D, you would have traded all the players and fired me by the end of the game. So it was that bad.
Skip, what's your take on the series now?
By the way, before I unleash on my Spurs, I need to find out whether my partner across the table, who was chortling all through the first topic about my Spurs, are you now off the bandwagon, so you're picking Houston now?
No, I said the Spurs in 7.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I've had lots of, first it was Houston.
It was
6.
never, I said Spurs. When we came on,
Okay,
I said
but
Spurs
then
in
after
7.
game 1, you switched and
I
said it
said,
was
I
Houston.
said y'all in trouble, but I
Okay,
still believe you
think
guys
you
can
said
win.
Houston, but that's okay.
Okay.
All right. Here is my take, Joy, back to your question. I was extremely surprised by and extremely disappointed in my San Antonio Spurs last night because that was a bad sign. It was game 1 all over again when I sat right here in the same seat and said, this is big trouble. You have now recreated once again the three-point shooting monster that is the Houston Rockets, because they can shoot the threes better than Golden State can shoot the threes or your Cleveland Cavaliers can shoot the threes. And both those teams also live and die by the three. But not long after that game started, you can look at my Twitter timeline, I tweeted, "Oh no, the Spurs are just out of it." I don't know why. I don't get it. Obviously, they won game 2 at home when you said they wouldn't win game 2, and then they bounced right back on Friday night at Houston, where they had won both regular season games, and they won a third straight game at Houston. And I thought, well, at least they'll show up Sunday night, and at least they'll give some account of themselves. They'll have a little pride. They'll actually hang in the game. I thought they would lose game 4, but I thought it would be a close game, silly me, because I saw no energy, I saw no urgency, I saw very little, dare I say, effort. And I told Ernestine, who was sitting in the other room because she refuses to watch a Spurs game in the same room I am in because I go too crazy, but I just opened the door, you can ask her, and I said about 4 minutes into the game, they're going to lose by 20. And I was wrong because they lost by 21. That's how bad. And of course, she always says, leave them alone. They're going to be okay. And for a little while in the second quarter, it looked like, maybe they'll make it a game.
She should have said, leave me alone.
Well, she does say that often. Trust me on that. But if you look at the score by quarters, my Spurs, the number 1 defensive team in the NBA, gave up 34 in the first quarter. Then they kind of hung in and locked down second quarter and allowed only 23. Then they allowed 34 more in the third quarter and 34 more in the fourth quarter. That is horrendously bad. That is, what are you doing bad? That is, you're getting run out of the building bad when they should be a better team than that. And obviously, after Tony Parker went down in game 2 and out for the rest of the year, obviously with his ruptured quad, I said, okay, I had Houston, they were going to beat Houston in 6, and I said it's going to take 7 games. And now I think it's going to be, once again, a long, hard battle against a very good basketball team that is playing way better on defense than I ever thought it could. Again, they made the Houston Rockets 22 threes in game 1, and I told you the next day, if they keep doing that, they're going to win the NBA championship. Last night, they made a mere 19 threes, and if they keep making 19, they're going to come close to winning the NBA championship because it is hard to beat. So last night, they lost Nene. He's not a crucial factor for them, but he does come off the bench, and he bangs hard, and he gives them a little physicality. But we don't have our point guard, our starting point guard in Tony Parker. So it sort of evens out. And my biggest fear is, without Nene, the Spurs offense degenerates into, let's lob it into LaMarcus and see if he can work on Ryan Anderson. I can't watch it. I was out of my mind. I'm like rolling on the floor last night. I don't want to see it anymore. It's shades, it's flashbacks to last year's nightmare when all they were, LaMarcus or bust. Marcus, dribble.
Back down, you got to back down. You got to back him up.
Dribble. Should I? I'm going to turn and shoot this. And right now, he can't hit the broadside of a Texas barn. And last night, he would sometimes duck into the lane and score on Ryan Anderson, but it makes the Spurs so tediously slow on offense. They lose all rhythm, flow, sync. And I was having flashbacks to last year. And I'll be the first to admit, I tweeted this right before the game started. You know what happened last year against Oklahoma City? Spurs go up to Oklahoma City on a Friday night and win game 3. And it was happy days are here again because that put them up 2-1 against Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And guess what happened in game 4? Blowout. And guess what happened in game 5? Blowout. And guess what happened in game 6? Blowout. And I fear the same thing could happen here. I think this is a different team because Kawhi has taken over this team. But it's hard because last night he was mostly going one on about 3 or 4. Some nights he can pull it off. He couldn't last night. So I think it's going to be a long, hard 7-game battle for my Spurs.
Try to take these points point by point. You said you were extremely surprised and disappointed. Why are you surprised and why are you disappointed?
Because they had just won 2 straight games against a team I think they're better than, a team that they had figured out. And all of a sudden, everything that they did, which is stay home on the snipers, they just abandoned that. And not only could they not cover the snipers, they couldn't even stop the drivers. So they got both barrels last night. They got sniped and they got driven on and dunked on all night long.
Awaken a 3-point monster. In 2 of the 4 games, you've given up at least 125 points twice. This is the best defensive team in basketball with the best defensive player in basketball. Why is that?
I don't know. I just said I was surprised. I was shocked by this.
You said shocked, extreme. You said extremely.
Well, I'll tell you why it was last night, because they decided, okay, we got our one game in Houston, we're okay. And I think that's a really dangerous attitude to have.
Okay. You said you're extremely surprised, you're disappointed. That Waking a three-point monster, you mentioned that you tweeted before the game and some during the game. You opened the door and disturbed Ernestine while she was watching her stories.
Oh, she was watching the Spurs.
Watching her, Hazel, said, Dad, get out of here,
She
Dad.
did. She only barks at you, though.
You said they got run
show's
out.
on
You
in the
said they got
morning.
run out of the building with a bad sign. All the things you talked about, not one time did you mention Kawhi Leonard. Why is that?
He was all right, but he's just, I told you, I did mention him at the end. I said he was going 1-on-3. It worked on Friday night.
But you painted him in a positive light. How is it that the best defensive player, the best two-way player, the best player in basketball is beyond reproach when it comes to criticism when his team loses? It's what's wrong with the Spurs. LeBron never gets that benefit of the doubt. Why?
Help me out here. Does Kawhi Leonard have Kyrie Irving riding shotgun to
He didn't
take
have,
over in the fourth quarter?
Kawhi Leonard did not have Kyrie.
Kevin Love?
He didn't have Kevin Love.
Does he have Tristan Thompson?
He doesn't have Tristan. He
Does
doesn't
he have Kyle Korver coming off the bench just lighting it up, unconscious three-point shooting? Nope. He doesn't have that.
He had none of those in the regular season and won 10 more games. So why is it now? So what's the problem now? He didn't have those guys and he won 60-plus games. He didn't have Kyle Korver.
It's why a lot of the analysts and the second-level stats guys were making a case that Kawhi Leonard should be the MVP this year.
Okay, all that being said, but why doesn't he get criticized when they play bad? Why is it a team issue? Why do you go to LaMarcus? Why do you say Tony Parker got? You don't mention Kawhi. Now, Friday night, James Harden had 43. Oh, but you say, Kawhi, but they lost. Now he goes and get 28 and 12. Okay. See, when James Harden goes off, Danny Green, everybody else is covering him. James Harden.
You see Kawhi on Friday night? I mean, he was just sensational on both ends.
You see what you did?
Sorry.
Okay, what about the 125? What am I supposed to do with this 125? With the best defensive player is on the court, with the best defensive team is on playing.
The problem is he can't cover all five at once. He can only cover one at a time. And the killers are Eric Gordon making 4 threes. That's the killer. The killer is Lou Williams just going off on Danny Green, who just, I've complimented Danny before. I like him a lot, but he just didn't show up last night. I don't know why.
Just one more thing. Just one more thing. Just for me. Friday night, when the best player in the NBA was sitting on the bench, the San Antonio Spurs goes on 11-0 run. Can you recall the time that LeBron James was on the bench and they go on 11-0 run without
several times, many times. It's happened. I've brought it up on shows many times. I don't have time. I'll go look it up for tomorrow. I'll go look it up. Trust me, several times. In fact, last year we kept making the case, man, they're better with LeBron on the bench. It was weird.
Don't do that.
Well, I'm not doing it. I'm just telling you the truth.
And does anybody wave the white flag, surrender, I give up, quicker than Greg Popovich? They were only down 15 at the start of the quarter. But let me tell you what would have happened when the Cavs were down at the Pacers by 25.
These aren't the Pacers or the Raptors. These are the Rockets.
Hold on.
So my
The Rockets
Spurs
don't play D.
have to fight through Memphis and now the Rockets.
So the Rockets are a great defensive team now.
They're pretty good. They're underrated on defense. I thought they were really good last night because Patrick Beverly can just lock you down.
But you talk. So hold on. They got 5 Patrick Beveleys?
They're
pretty
good on defense.
How about this? Who's a better defender?
Clint Capella is really good.
Who's a better defender? Patrick Beverly or Kawhi Leonard?
Who are you looking at?
I'm just asking you a question. Joe, I can't give
Kawhi he doesn't speak to anybody. He's not going to
Joy told me I'm giving away my whole card. Yeah. She said you're letting everybody know you have aces or kings.
You should just
so I just look away right now.
Never ever play poker.
Who's a better defender?
Well, Kawhi obviously is way better. He's the best defender in the league to me. Has proven it over time. How many Defensive Player of the Year awards does Kawhi have?
He has 2.
Well, then why would you even ask me that question?
And James Harden is averaging how many points?
I don't
and
know.
they're giving up 120, and they're giving up 125 in half of the games they play. So how does the best defensive team with the best defensive player on it give up 125? Skip, help me understand
You
this.
came in here on Friday with your tail between your legs because you said you had seen what you saw. You saw a force of nature on Thursday night, and you said, "I give up. I'm back on the bandwagon.
Skip,
They're really good."
No.
Skip,
I'm not gonna let you do this to me,
Yeah.
Skip. Why do you try to do this
Because
to me?
you deserve it. You're asking for it. And in the end, you're right about Greg Popovich. He just plays for Game 5. So here we go again. He's willing to put all his eggs in the Game 5 basket. They're down 15. They're making threes like madmen. And he just said, I'm good. I'm going to play Bryn Forbes. You don't even know who he is. That's who played in the fourth quarter, right? I mean,
He ain't akin to Malcolm Forbes? Or?
No, went to Michigan State. He's a good kid, but he probably won't last long in the league. But he's playing a lot of minutes in the fourth quarter. That's how bad it
You
got.
said I was.
You know why?
What?
Because he's just waiting for. He's going to rest up his guys for Game 5, which is once again another do or die home game. Here we go again.
But Kawhi rested in the fourth quarter of Game 1. How much rest does he need? He's 25. LeBron James is averaging 40.
You know how I feel about Pop and rest. You know how I feel. They
LeBron-
lost a lot of momentum at the end of the year.
Look, hold on. Kawhi is 25. He's playing like 33, 35 minutes a game. LeBron is 39, playing 41.
He has to fight through Memphis and the Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. And Pop's looking at the biggest picture while LeBron gets to coast against the Pacers,
But
the
the
Raptors,
Rockets don't
and
play.
whoever.
The Rockets do not play defense, Skips. Don't do that.
They do play defense. If you watched the game last night, they were playing hellacious defense.
That's not what
They're
the
all over the Spurs.
The stats don't bear that out.
I'm just telling you what I saw.
But you like stats. You like analytics. You
I'm
like
an eye
PE.
test guy.
You like.
What did I tell you after Game 1? I'd never seen the
What
Rockets
about
play better defense.
You like PER and you like rating. Okay, what your eye test. Now the stats say the Rockets are somewhere in the teens as far as defense. Toronto was like 7th in defense. I'm just saying that's what the numbers say.
But the Toronto pads those stats against Eastern Conference teams.
People will lie, like men, women, children, but the
Stats
numbers,
don't know.
they don't, Skip.
Oh, well, wait a second.
But they only lie when it saves them from great harm or despair, right?
Great harm, despair, or embarrassment.
Wait a second. So you're saying PER, you're taking it to your bank, right?
No.
So
I'm saying that's what
Russell
you like.
Westbrook,
No,
he led in PER by
No.
far, and guess who was second? Kawhi. So I guess those two guys are better than LeBron.
I said you
Wow.
love stats,
Interesting.
except when they don't help your cause.
Well, it just helped my cause.
Well,
Thank you for bringing
I
PER
just want to know when you're going to stop blaming Pop. You're going to stop blaming
You
everybody.
just blamed him.
I didn't hey, he gave it away. All I know is this is what we know.
You blamed him. I didn't.
We got to
You
leave
love
it there.
plus minus.
Game 5
Kawhi Leonard is plus 3.
Tuesday night in San Antonio. No mercy. Myles Garrett was drafted #1 overall by the Browns. Then he was asked by ESPN which AFC North quarterback he's most eager to meet on the field. Garrett said, quote, Big Ben. I've always said he's hard to take down, so I'm coming for him first. Chop him down. After hearing that, Ben Roethlisberger responded, I was talking to Marquise Pouncey after Garrett called me out. Pounce got a big kick out of it. All of my linemen enjoyed hearing it. They can't wait to get started. I can't either. Steelers tackle Marcus Gilbert tweeted, see you 9-10, big fella. You'll get your shot, pup. Steelers face the Browns to open the season on September 10th. We're joined by Fox Sports NFL analyst Greg Jennings. Welcome, Greg.
Hello, Greg.
You guys, good morning to you.
Do you like Garrett saying he wants to sack Big Ben?
Absolutely. I love it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing. If we go back to the question posed to him, which quarterback
In the AFC North.
who else is in the AFC North, number one? No disrespect to Flacco, but when you look at that division, Big Ben is staring you down in the face. Like, you got to go for Big Ben. So I have nothing wrong with it when it comes to, I think, as a rookie, you get posed so many different questions. The moment you get drafted, everyone's asking you so many different things. You're not going to back down. You're not going to say, well, no, you know what? I'm looking forward to playing every quarterback. No, you're going to say things that are a little controversial sometimes. I don't think there was anything wrong with what he said. He wants to sack Big Ben. He was asked which quarterback, Big Ben. If I'm a DN and I'm in that division and I'm asked about a quarterback that I'm most eager to play against, it's Ben.
In the AFC East, the defensive lineman, who do you think they want to sack them on?
Is it
I want
Tannehill? They want Tannehill. Is it Tannehill?
I want to get that Tannehill. Oh, Josh McCown. But Josh McCown, I can't wait to put him on the dirt.
Yeah.
Skip, you know I have no problem with it either. You ask the man a question, because here's what would have happened. If you ask him a question and he gave you the PC answer, well, I don't like that. I like my defensive lineman to have that dog in him. I want him to say it. I want to take down Big Ben. If you're the best or think you're the best, you should want to take down the best. That's what I want him. But so he said what you want, and then Skip got a problem with it. When you're the number 1 draft pick, Greg, and you know this, first of all, if you're a first-round draft pick, I don't care if you're on my team or not. You definitely, if you're on the opposing team, I need to see why. Mm-hmm. I need to see why you went in the first round. I need to see why you got the Lombardi. I need to see why you won the Buckets or the Thorpe Award. So I got to see. And if you're on my team, I'm going to see early on, because I'm going to make sure I go against you one-on-one. So I got no problem with Myles Garrett. Says I'm the number 1 pick. He had a target on his back regardless, because he was the number 1 pick. And a lot of people, Skip, you and I agree. I do not think he played to his measurables on a consistent basis. That's I got no problem with it. He want to be paleontologist or whatever. He can go up there to the north and see the little dinosaurs, because they are extinct. The little dinosaurs, that's what I call the raptors. They're not a T-Rex or a pterodactyl, one of the most fierce dinosaurs. They're more like Barney. But anyway, Myles Garrett did nothing wrong. You know what? What's his number? I might get me a Myles Garrett jersey and wear it the Monday when he take him down
twice.
Well,
you're Cleveland all the way.
It is. Oh yeah, I'm thinking that.
Yeah.
It's Cleveland, but you're just Cleveland across the board.
I'm gonna ride with him. The first game, Myles Garrett gonna get a sack and a half.
Sack and a half?
Yep.
Well, you went way out on the limb on that one.
Hold on. You see the offensive lineman? Pouncey got a kick out of it, and his offensive line to keep him. So they're going to keep him out. He going to get him a sack. Big fella, go on and do what you do.
I think he's going to get shut out, because he just made it doubly tough. He just made that target on his back twice as big as it was before, because you agree with me. You think he's going to have a hard time living up to his draft status as the number 1 overall pick, because I told
with those
him,
measurables.
I'm not being a hypocrite. This is not 20/20 hindsight. The more I watched him on television, the less I saw at Texas A&M. I kept thinking, I want to see this Myles Garrett guy. I'm looking, which number is he? Because
nothing really pops
in the
out.
SEC games, he had 12 sacks in 21 SEC games. He had big multi-sack games against Louisiana Monroe and UT San Antonio and Nevada and Rice, but it shouldn't count, because he went and won the combine. You call it the football Olympics.
That's what it is.
And he won the decathlon. He dominated everyone. He's off the charts in every category except productivity on tape. So he's going to have enough of a problem to start with, and I'm starting to wonder if his bark is bigger than his on-field bite. So why would you? Maybe it's just part of his. Part of the shtick, part of his show is he's got to talk a big game because he's a little nervous about being able to play a big game. And on this one, you walk softly into a Pittsburgh game. It's the opening game, right?
Yes.
It's the first game. So you should walk softly, as they used to, Teddy Roosevelt said, and carry a big stick. But you should walk softly into that game. And now he has announced on a loudspeaker he's coming for Ben. And there's a way to answer the question. Just say, hey, I want to sack all those quarterbacks. I want to give us the best chance I can to win.
But I want Ben first.
Don't single out. Yeah, you want Ben first. Way to go.
But Skip, he got to talk. He has to talk tough, Skip. The guy likes paleontology. He likes Journey and writes poetry. So what you think them guys look at? This big old softy. So he got to I'm coming, Big Ben.
See, my issue with it is when you're young, when you're a rookie, you're asked these questions. Like the media, as well as guys in the league, your teammates, everybody is looking at your response. So your response, if it's not perfect, if it's not the right response, it's the wrong response. It's not okay, it's just wrong. You shouldn't have said it. I disagree with that. There's so many guys who are posed questions that answer them, and pending who they are or what the landscape of the situation is, it's just thrown away, thrown to the side. Well, this is the number 1 pick. He has a target on his back.
Already.
I truly believe, I don't think he's going to be shut out. I think he has potential to be shut out, but I don't think so. And here's why, because, and this is getting off the topic of the question, but Ben holds the ball so long, he's going to give the kid an opportunity to get around that edge. I don't care
The kid
who's
might
playing.
get his hands on him, but then the next trick is getting him on the ground, right?
You're right.
Get
This-
Get in, big. Skip, if you don't want the answer, don't ask me the question, because I won't give it to you.
Yes.
Okay, but once again, I think both of you are imposing your personalities and your status, what you earned in the league, on this kid, because you're thinking if you had been in those shoes, you would have said.
You're 100% correct, because when I was posed different questions about even playing with Brett Favre or going up against the Bears, and I was very respectful because I didn't want, number one, I don't need the spotlight on me. I'm coming in, I'm a second-round guy. I just want to do my thing. Now I have all the confidence in the world, but I wasn't the number one overall pick. Mm-hmm. So there has to be a certain amount of swag. There has to be a certain amount of confidence that you exude to your opponents and to your teammates, because you have so many more eyeballs watching you and ears listening to what you say and how you say it. His teammates loved his response. They love it.
Can he back it up?
We all are looking to see that.
I had Skip. They asked me in the Super Bowl. We played you guys in '97. Obviously, '97 you probably was in junior
I'm
high.
like, wait, what? No, you guys.
I played the Packers. And they said, what do you think about Leroy Butler? I said, I love Leroy. He's a good friend of mine. I said, but if he covers me one-on-one, I give up all my property and leave the country. That's not going to happen. I stayed in our division, Chester McLaughlin, Cortez, Sam. I stayed into it with all of them. And the lineman got mad at me, Skip, because they told Alex Gibb, the offensive line coach, Shannon is getting into it with guys that he doesn't have to block. Well, hey, they talking to me, I'm talking to them.
Okay,
Toughen up.
That's your nature, and you can back up your nature because you could back it up on the field. You're backing it up, as we heard the other day.
In practice, Wade
Phillips saying right away. Was that in camp? That's your first camp, right?
No, it was once we got into the season. So I was the scout team guy for the opposing team. I played the tight end or their best receiver.
Let them have it.
Yeah, just
Spiking
let
the
him
ball,
have
I
it.
throw the ball in the woods, I punt it. You can't cover.
So Wade Phillips is telling the offense, you tell him,
Put him
in the game. You know, like we can't cover him, they can't cover him either, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I get that, but that's you, and you were way underdrafted in the 7th round, so you needed to talk yourself into the lineup and the spotlight, which you proceeded to do. Before the Atlanta Super Bowl, you got into it with
Ray Buchanan.
And you leveled him, man.
I was minding my own business. Skip, you know me.
Yeah.
I'm not a talker. Media day, I'm not a talker, Skip. I was just sitting back, talking, it's good to be back, go to back. That's what we're here. He called me. Did you hear what he said? Oh, was I supposed to let that go?
And you know what it became? It became like LeBron against the Raptors, right? He was like a baby dinosaur to you. You were just shaming him.
Skip, if he has to play to those measurables because we haven't seen a guy, like Jadeveon Clowney. It took Jadeveon a while to get healthy, and he's starting to look. I believe if this young man can stay healthy and because he knows now, Skip, this is not college. You're not playing for books.
Right.
You're playing for mortgages. You're playing for college funds. You're playing for longevity as far as it's not how much money you make, it's how many generations can you take care of from this point moving forward. So it's a whole different ball game now, Skip. You don't have to worry about I gotta go to study hall. I gotta go there. It's football.
So the whole focus of the Steelers' offensive preparation that week will be Myles Garrett. We are going to nullify Myles Garrett. And Marcus Gilbert, you just read his tweets. Remember, he's going into his 7th year as a former 2nd-round pick out of Florida. So he's earned some stripes as a start. He's the right tackle. I don't know how much he'll actually see.
Villanueva, I think, is the left tackle.
Well, okay, so I don't know, will they flip him around? I don't know how they're going to use Myles Garrett.
If I'm Myles Garrett, I'm going up the line. Yeah. I'm whipping all of y'all butts.
Right in a row?
Hey, Villanueva, I got you on this one. Pouncey, I got you on this one. DeCastro, you want some of this? Hey, Gilberry, I'm coming. I'm coming.
I'm not saying all that. No, Myles, don't listen to Shannon. If you are listening, don't do all that.
Bad advice.
Shannon, I'm with Skip now. That's you putting yours.
In warm-ups, I said, look here, I'm going to give it to you in the first half, and so you don't feel left out, you're going to get it in the second half.
My God, do you realize what you've done to this poor kid now?
Yeah.
I want him to Skip.
It was here and I was like here.
I run up and down the line. You. All y'all going to get it today.
I will bet you some of the Steelers are watching this show right now, and they are laughing out loud at what you were saying.
Out of here, boy. If that had made me 6'4", 275,
As if you're not
Steelers
big enough.
and Browns already have a rivalry.
Yeah.
Although it's not really a rivalry, you got to like win some. every
Stop
once in a
hating,
while.
Joy.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, it's
Facts only. No mercy. Wizards blew out the Celtics yesterday to tie the series at 2 games apiece. So far in the playoffs, John Wall is 4th in the league in scoring at nearly 29 per game and leads the league in assists. We're joined by former All-Star Caron Butler. Welcome, Caron.
Thanks for having me back.
KB.
How are you?
What's up, brother?
Caron, you've said that John Wall is the second best player in the East.
Well,
Make your case of why you think that.
I've been screaming that for some time now, since early December. And I say it because, when we started the season off, you're talking about the Chris Pauls, who's a perennial all-star. You're talking about, all the guys that play at that position.
Russ.
Steph, Russ, everyone. And then you look at John Wall, he's like, hey, y'all forgot about me over here. And just looking at the demonstration that he put on, for the majority of the season, with them starting off 0-8, 0-9, whatever the case may have been, with a new addition of Scott Brooks, younger guys, he's facilitating, doing pretty much everything for that ball club and leading them, changing pace, his gears, his leadership on and off the court.
Right.
And where they at now, I was screaming it already. I was like, he's the second best player in the Eastern Conference next to
Just for
LeBron
me,
James.
okay. I'm just making sure. Because I didn't know, Skip, I didn't know where he might have gone. He might have went with Isaiah. He might have went with the Greek Freak. So I didn't really know where he was going.
But I think everybody's taking notice now. You know what I mean? Like the playoff is the biggest stage for you to present your talents and put them on display. And that's exactly what he's doing in the nation's capital, and the city's behind him, and he's doing a great job of it.
It is John Wall. But when do we pat people on the back for being second best? You want to finish runner-up in a beauty contest? Of course not. So you know what? Just for the sake of this,
That would still mean that you look nice.
As
It's
if,
just
right,
so you know.
exactly.
Yeah.
but you don't look nicer than the one that won. But anyway, Skip, just for this, you know what, Skip? I'm going to say John Wall is the second best because I love the fact that not only can he score, but he's more of a traditional point guard as opposed to these guys masquerading. Russell is masquerading. Isaiah Thomas is masquerading. And James Harden has gotten best, but James is really a 2. But he's done a great job. He's really reconfigured his game that he will get other people involved. And so Wall is the more typical guy. Skip, you remember the last time they played the Cavaliers, and I've always said this, from the time that I saw them early, I say this is the team that can challenge the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference.
Why?
Because they have 2 scorers, John Wall and Bradley Beal, because you can't hide Kyrie. And that's what they're doing to Isaiah Thomas. They're like, whoever he has, whoever Isaiah is guarding, give him the ball. You want to score 53? Let me see how well you play when one guy's getting 28, the other guy's getting 27, and you're tired. So that's what they're doing. But from what, look, Greek Freak, once he develops an outside shot, he's going to be the deal with.
Some years
6'11",
away.
yeah. Jimmy Butler, good. Paul George. But I'm going to go John Wall. He's basically averaging 28 and 12 in this series. You get 28 and 12, and he's making – I love guys that can make their teammates better. He makes his teammates better, and I love the flag. And ever since he did the Dougie, I was on his bandwagon then. Once he did the Dougie –
That was it?
that was it. All it took was the Dougie. But I didn't see this. Skip, watching him in college, I did not see this. I did not. Did you think he?
I did not see it as well.
I said before that draft I would take DeMarcus Cousins over John Wall, and I must admit he has impressed me in the last 2 years because he has become much better distributing the basketball than he used to be.
Yep.
He has a much better feel that I thought, because usually you can't teach that feel for distributing, and he's starting to look like a real, live, really good point guard. But I'm sorry, that guy who rides shotgun for LeBron James, in a vacuum, if I'm just doing player versus player, I'm taking Kyrie as the second best player in the East, because the things he did yesterday when Toronto made that a game in the fourth quarter, it just takes my breath away. Some of the they'll just ISO Kyrie. They need a hoop.
Put him at the
just
elbow.
put him over there. It's like, watch this, and it go boop, 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 and then he's going to shoot it left-handed off the glass, way up high off the glass. He just, it's like trick shots.
Oh, you're going to see an and one clinic just about every game. He's going to do something. You're like, how did he do that?
So yesterday, Toronto gets up 93-92 with 6:15 left in the game. And Kyrie says, well, watch this. It's my turn now. And he scores 11 straight points. And all of a sudden it goes from they're down 1 to up 8. And he scored 11 straight Cavaliers points. Yeah. And he's making threes. And it's like, well, that's just too good. Because he just said, that's enough of this. And obviously He closed the deal on Christmas Day against Golden State, and he closed the Game 7 deal in the
Stop
NBA
it,
Finals.
Skip.
He did close the deal. He said
Skip, the
"That's enough."
last shot in the Golden State game. But do you say that in the Game 6 game, did Paxson close the deal because he scored 10 points in the final 5 minutes and he hit the crucial three? Do you say that? But see,
This is why I say John Wall is the second best, because he sets the stage.
Right.
LeBron sets the stage for all the Cleveland Cavalier players to be great.
Play setting, make sure everything.
He put them in position to do everything that they need to do.
But you don't even have to put Kyrie in. You just say, okay, it's your turn. You go stand over here and watch, because great things are going to start happening.
I beg to differ, because Kyrie is a guy that can score the ball, and we saw him without LeBron James, scoring the ball and not setting the stage for everyone, and getting assists and everything. But you see John Wall, he can do it with another guy. Setting the stage, getting them, facilitating, scoring the ball, controlling the pace in the open court and in the half court.
Okay, I hear you. But what happened in Game 1 and again in Game 2 in Boston in this series, they had leads they should not have coughed up. They got ahead 16-0 in Game 1.
Went on a 14-0 run. They went on 14-0 and 17-0 and 22 and on 26-0.
And it's like,
this should have been a sweep.
Close the deal.
Could have.
Okay? But John Wall has to close those deals. He should take over the game and say, that's it, it's over. We are going to win this game. You have to put everybody in the right positions where it's just over, because you're right, it should have been a sweep.
I think when Marquise came down on Al Horford's foot, that really changed it. That really changed Game 1. I still believe the Wizards are going to win this series in 6.
6?
In 6.
Okay, so they're going to have to go close the deal, obviously.
They're going to win.
I'm not sure they can. I don't know.
I had the Wizards at 7.
See?
Okay.
But let me ask you a question.
Guess what I have? I got the Cavs in 4 over the Wizards.
No.
I do.
They can get one. They can get one.
They can get
one?
two.
Oh,
they can get 2.
It's a gentleman's sweep.
one.
It's a gentleman's sweep.
That's a gentleman's sweep?
Yeah, I
But I'm
give
just,
you one.
hold on.
Tip their cap?
Hold on.
I'm gonna give you one for the
Where they do
culture.
that at, Skip? Hold on. Stevie, where they do that at?
Don't you think Utah would want one game on a gentleman's sweep?
No.
The Golden State Warriors?
They don't have the firepower.
I'm saying you would accept that. You like, we got one.
Man, that would be a
At least we scratched them in the fight.
Yeah, that'd have been a huge. Hey, just pinch them or something.
Yeah.
Get a
I
little
thought we
pinch.
didn't care about second place.
I'm just saying, get a pin. I mean, Joey, you know
Something
when
to
you
build
playing
on.
football, my coach used to say, son, pinch him as he go by. Do something. You just let the man go up and down the field.
Yeah, pinch him.
I mean, Skip.
No, I agree.
But hey, Skip, keep on talking about Kawhi the closer, but Kyrie's averaging 5.6 in the fourth. LeBron's 8.4. And Kawhi's missed 2 whole quarters.
Yeah, but the fourth quarter is a long quarter, and what you have to really boil it down to is what happens with the game on the line in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
What about Friday?
Yesterday,
What about
Kyrie
Friday?
happened.
What about Friday?
Kyrie happened.
Friday.
None of
Game
these
3
games
against
even count.
Oh,
it's
they
like
count.
playing D-League teams.
You see these?
Seriously.
Look, the Eastern Conference have become the LeBron James invitation.
Oh!
Wait, does Kyrie play with him anymore?
Yes, he does, but LeBron's got to the point where he takes it to a whole nother level, and this is
Wait, is Kevin Love there?
speaking facts right here.
Wait, is Kyle Korver unconscious hot from 3? Every time he comes in,
he made a
makes like
huge
4.
difference in that last
He
game.
did.
Yeah, I love
Space
That's
on the
what we
floor.
got him, Skip.
Yeah, he made a huge difference.
Remember, LeBron said he didn't have enough help, and that was after he got Kyle Korver.
But Kyle had to get blended in, Skip.
Oh.
Skip, you just can't throw ingredients in there and talk about, okay, serve it. You got to put the eggs, the flour, the butter, the sugar to make the cake. You don't know nothing. Let me talk to you, CB. You got to put the eggs, the flour, the butter, the sugar, a little nutmeg, a little vanilla extract. Don't think I don't know about cooking, Skip, because I can do it. Buddy Crocker over here can make a cake.
No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on Channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. That's it for us today. We're back tomorrow when we're joined by Kenya Martin, Greg Jennings, and Rob Parker. We'll talk to you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.